Indigenous veterans have played a large and important part in the Canadian military throughout the decades, some people having to travel great distances just to enlist. Thousands of Indigenous people proudly served in uniform during the war years. Tommy Prince was born in Banterbury, Manitoba, one of 11 children. At 24 years old, he began his service as a sapper, a person who rebuilds damaged structures, clears landmines, and builds bridges. After 2 years, he began training with the 1st Canadian Special Service Battalion after volunteering to become a paratrooper. The battalion was an elite group of men with special skills, eventually becoming one very versatile assault group known to German soldiers as the Devil's Brigade. Tommy Prince was one of the only 59 Canadians awarded the Silver Star in the Second World War. His deep knowledge and intelligence make him an incredibly admirable person, someone to continue looking up to today. Corporal Raymond Goodchild was born in Nipigon, Ontario. Having grown up in Pays Plat First Nation, being a soldier in Cyprus was a big jump for him. He was stationed for the United Nations peacekeeping mission for 6 months and was always ready to jump in and help. He aided in the patrol of the Green Line, an uneasy buffer between Turkish and Greek land. After returning home, he continued to aid the Canadian Armed Forces, participating in training operations across the country. Later, Goodchild was awarded the United Nations Force in Cyprus Medal. He continues to make a positive impact in his community, now working as a community support worker in the Pays Plat First Nation area. In his words, "I've served my country, and now it's time to serve my community." It's a different type of service. Edith Montour was a nurse overseas in a French hospital over World War I. She was born in 1890 on the Six Nations Grand River Reserve. Since childhood, she had the dream of being a nurse, eventually working as a nurse in a New York elementary school. After hearing about the job opportunity to help her country, she joined the U.S. Medical Corps. Soon after, she and 19 other nurses traveled to France, spending most of their time in hospital, aiding soldiers who had been gassed, shot, or worse. Later in life, she had 4 children while continuing to be a nurse. She was one of the many Indigenous women who made extensive sacrifices during the war. Francis Pegamagabo was an Ojibwe man from the Perry Island Band in Ontario. In 1914, he became a member of the 1st Canadian Infantry Battalion at just age 23. Francis was a quiet man with nerves of steel and incredible patience, as well as an amazing sniper. After his first year on the Western Front, he became one of the few Canadians awarded the Military Medal, an award for the bravery he showed over the year. Francis went on to fight in Passchendaele, and even later fighting in the Battle of Scap in the final months of the war. He returned to Canada a completely new man, having fought most of World War I. Francis was known as one of the most accurate snipers in the entire war. As one of the most decorated Indigenous soldiers from the First World War, his legacy lives on. The story of Indigenous service in the First and Second World Wars, the Korean War, and later Canadian Armed Forces efforts is a proud one. It has been estimated that as many as 12,000 First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people served in the conflicts of the 20th century, with at least 500 of them losing their lives. We admire the incredible men and women who gave their lives in efforts for Canada.